The truth about hybrid cars. You've heard it all by now. Hybrids are amazing, they'll save you a fortune. Hybrids are a scam, the batteries all fail. Just buy a hybrid, it's the future. Never buy a hybrid, they're too complicated. Meanwhile, you're the one who actually has to live with the car, pay for it, insure it, and fix it when something goes wrong. So what's real and what's just marketing and opinion? If you've been driving long enough to remember life before hybrids were everywhere, this is for you. Let's cut through the hype and the horror stories and talk about hybrids the way adults actually need to hear it. What they do well, where they really save money, where they absolutely don't, and when a hybrid makes sense versus when you're better off with a regular gasoline car. If you want car content that respects your intelligence, doesn't talk down to you, and actually explains both the engineering and the money side, subscribe. Every car has a story, and we're here to decode the ones that are quietly changing how people drive. First, let's be clear about what a hybrid really is, stripped of all the buzzwords. From an engineering perspective, a hybrid is simply a gasoline engine working together with an electric motor, a battery, and a control system. The goal is to use the gas engine less when it's inefficient, capture energy you'd normally waste when braking, and assist the engine with electric torque so it doesn't have to work as hard. There are three broad types you'll hear about. A mild hybrid uses a small electric motor mainly to assist the engine. It usually can't drive the car on electric power alone. It's smooth stop-start operation and adds a little boost, but it's not a full hybrid. A full hybrid can often move the car on electric power for short distances, or run the engine and motor together or separately depending on conditions. These use a larger battery and motor and are what most people think of when they hear hybrid, like a Toyota Prius or many Toyota and Lexus hybrid models. Then you have plug-in hybrids, often called PHEVs. These have a larger battery you can charge from a wall outlet or charger. They can drive much longer distances on electric power only, and when the battery is depleted, they behave like regular full hybrids. All three types are trying to solve the same basic problem. Gas engines are inefficient in certain situations, especially stop-and-go city driving. Electric motors are very efficient at low speeds and for stop-start situations. Hybrids blend the two to reduce wasted energy. There's no magic in that, it's just engineering trade-offs and a different way of managing energy. Where do hybrids actually shine? The biggest advantage is in city and stop-and-go driving. At low speeds, a conventional gas engine is at its worst. It idles at red lights, burning fuel while doing nothing. It runs rich when cold. It constantly starts and stops, and every time you hit the brakes, you convert motion into heat and throw that energy away. Hybrids directly attack that waste. The engine can shut off when you stop. The electric motor can handle low-speed crawling and gentle acceleration. Regenerative braking recovers some of the energy you'd normally turn into heat in the brake pads and stores it in the battery instead. If your daily life is traffic, school runs, urban or suburban loops, and short trips with lots of lights, a hybrid's strengths line up almost perfectly with your driving pattern. That's why taxis, rideshare drivers, and high-mileage city commuters often love them. High annual mileage is another area where hybrids can pay off. If you drive 15, 20, or 30,000 miles a year, small improvements in fuel economy add up in real dollars. For example, if your current car averages around 27 miles per gallon and a hybrid can give you something close to 40 in similar use, over 20,000 miles, you might use roughly 740 gallons in the first car and about 500 gallons in the hybrid. At $4 a gallon, that's close to $1,000 difference per year. Over 5 years, you're approaching $5,000 saved in fuel alone, assuming the hybrid doesn't hit you with big extra repair costs. Hybrids also tend to feel smoother and quieter around town. A well-designed system will pull away from stops quietly, shut the engine off at lights, and blend power in a way that feels relaxed. If you're at the point where you care more about calm and comfort than about engine noise, that matters. Now let's talk about the question that still worries a lot of people, the battery. The classic fear is that all hybrid battery packs die at 100,000 miles and cost $8,000 to replace. There are horror stories, but they are not the whole story. Most hybrids use either nickel-metal hydride batteries or lithium-ion batteries. Older Toyota and Lexus hybrids, for example, use nickel-metal hydride. Those packs have proven to be surprisingly durable in real-world use. Many last 10, 15 years or more. They can tolerate abuse better than most people expected when hybrids first arrived. Newer systems often use lithium-ion packs, which are lighter and more energy-dense. We simply don't have as many 15-year-old lithium-ion hybrid packs yet, but the way they are managed in hybrids, with careful thermal control and limited depth of discharge, has generally been better than the early days of full electric vehicles. In the strongest hybrid systems, particularly from manufacturers with long experience like Toyota and Lexus, it's common to see 150,000 to 250,000 miles on the original battery pack. Failures do happen, but they're not guaranteed at some fixed mileage. In weaker or early generation systems from other brands or in designs that were rushed to market, lifespan can be shorter. Replacement cost varies. A full pack from a dealer can be expensive on some cars, but it's not always catastrophic. In many regions, there are remanufactured packs, aftermarket replacements, and hybrid specialist shops that can rebuild or replace individual bad modules rather than the whole pack. For popular models, battery replacement costs have often come down over time as more options enter the market. The truth is, on the better-designed, high-volume hybrids, the battery is no longer the guaranteed financial death sentence people imagined in the early 2000s. On obscure or poorly designed hybrids, particularly those that sold in low numbers and don't have a parts ecosystem, it can still be a serious wallet-smashing problem. That's why research matters. What about maintenance? A lot of people assume hybrids are either dirt cheap to maintain or wildly expensive. The reality lives in the middle. Some things are actually easier on a hybrid. Because of regenerative braking, the friction brakes often last much longer. It's not unusual to see brake pads and rotors go 80 to 120,000 miles before needing replacement. The gasoline engine in a good hybrid doesn't run all the time in city use. Fewer cold starts under load and less idling can reduce engine wear. Many full hybrids use a type of electronic continuously variable transmission or power split device that has fewer traditional shifting components. When the system is designed well, as it is in many Toyota hybrids, those drivetrains can be extremely durable.
At the same time, hybrids add complexity. You now have high-voltage components, inverters, DC to DC converters, more cooling loops, and additional sensors and modules. Routine maintenance like oil changes, filters, and coolant is usually similar in cost to a regular car, but when a hybrid-specific component fails, such as an inverter or a high-voltage control module, the repair can be expensive if you're out of warranty and don't have good independent options in your area. This leads into a few myths that are worth clearing up. One myth is that all hybrids are slow and boring. That reputation comes from early, economy-focused models like the original Prius. Modern hybrids cover a range. Some are tuned purely for economy and are indeed calm and unexciting. Others, especially from brands like Lexus and some European manufacturers, are quite quick. Electric torque off the line can make them feel strong in daily driving, even if they don't shout about it. Another myth is that hybrids don't work on the highway. It's true that the advantage of a hybrid is usually smaller on long, steady highway trips because the gas engine is already operating in a relatively efficient window. But the hybrid system can still help with electric assist on hills, careful engine management, and engine shutoff on gentle downhill stretches. If almost all your miles are long highway runs, a very efficient gasoline car, or in some markets, a diesel, can compete well with a hybrid. In mixed or city driving, the hybrid pulls ahead. A third myth is that you can't get a hybrid serviced outside the dealer. High-voltage work does require proper training and safety precautions. That's non-negotiable. But we're not in the early days anymore. Many independent shops now understand the major hybrid systems used in common models. They've invested in scan tools and training and can do battery replacements, cooling system work, and diagnostics. You still need to be careful about who works on your hybrid, but you're not automatically chained to dealer rates forever. So when does a hybrid make financial sense? It usually makes sense if you drive a lot of miles per year, particularly in city or suburban stop and go. If the specific hybrid model you're looking at has a strong reliability record, including the hybrid system, if the price difference between the hybrid and the non-hybrid variant of the same car isn't excessive, and if you plan to keep the car long enough for fuel savings to actually pay back that extra cost. You also need to be honest about your comfort level with the eventual possibility of battery replacement or hybrid system repairs. A hybrid makes less sense if you drive very low annual miles, if your driving is mostly long highway trips where the hybrid system's strengths don't get used, if the hybrid version is significantly more expensive than the regular version, or if the particular model has a questionable reliability record. In those cases, a very efficient non-hybrid gasoline car or a simple, well-proven used car from a reliable brand might actually be the smarter choice. When you compare hybrids to full electric vehicles and regular gasoline cars, remember that we're in a transition era. Regular gas cars are simple by comparison, well understood, and cheap to fix if you pick the right model. Their downside is fuel cost and potential future restrictions in some cities. Full electric vehicles remove fuel stops entirely and can be very cheap to run per mile if your electricity rates are reasonable, but they come with range limitations, charging infrastructure needs, and big battery questions that are still playing out long term. Hybrids sit in the middle. They reduce fuel use and emissions, especially in the city, but they keep the gas engine and add electrical complexity on top. If you're not ready to go fully electric but you're tired of watching your fuel bill climb, a well-developed full hybrid from a proven manufacturer can be a very sensible middle ground. The key is not to buy the idea of a hybrid in the abstract, but to buy a specific hybrid system in a specific car that suits your driving and your budget. If you're considering a hybrid, shop the way an experienced driver should. Start by looking at the brand and the history of their hybrid systems. Some manufacturers, like Toyota and Lexus, have decades of field data and very good track records. Others have more mixed results. Research battery life and common hybrid failures for the exact model and year you're looking at. Compare the hybrid to its non-hybrid counterpart in terms of price, real-world fuel economy from owners, and reliability. Run your own numbers, how far you drive each year, what your current fuel costs are, and how long it would realistically take to break even. If you're buying used, insist on a proper pre-purchase inspection by a shop that understands hybrids. They should scan the hybrid system, evaluate battery health if possible, and check all the usual mechanical items. And be honest with yourself about how long you typically keep cars. If you change vehicles every 2 or 3 years, you might be riding the early curve where fuel savings are modest and depreciation matters more. If you hold on to cars for a long time, the long-term durability of the hybrid system matters a lot. The bottom line is this: hybrids are not magic, and they're not a scam. They are a set of engineering solutions to the problem of wasted energy in conventional driving. When they're designed well and matched to the way you actually use a car, they can be excellent. When they're designed poorly or bought for the wrong reasons without doing the math, they can be an expensive way to feel good. If you've been around cars long enough, you've seen new technologies arrive with just as much noise as hybrids did. Fuel injection, ABS, stability control, direct injection, all of them were misunderstood at first. We're past that early chaos with the best hybrid systems. The smart question now isn't, are hybrids good? It's, is this hybrid in this car with my driving pattern and my budget the right tool for the job? If you want help answering questions like that, not just about hybrids, but about engines, transmissions, used car buying, long-term ownership, and what really makes a car worth your money, subscribe. Most of the car world online is aimed at kids and clickbait. This is for people who actually have something to lose if they get it wrong. I'm GearHead. Every car has a story, and together, we're going to decode it.